I bought disguise ninja weapons, from the cheapest to the most expensive. And in today's video, we're going to test all of them and find out which one is the best of all. We have a lot of interesting things to test in today's video, so let's start with the first one, which is also one of the cheapest. It came directly from China. It cost me 15 rays, and here it is. It's a piece of plastic in a very specific shape. This is kind of like acrylic silicone, I don't know. It's kind of rubbery and not very flexible. What is this for? This simulates something like brass knuckles, but a bit more modern because you can easily keep this in any pocket. It doesn't show at all, it won't be detected by any metal detector, and it can be used a lot, especially as a self-defense weapon. Here's how this works. You have to fit it onto your finger, and you'll notice that only this little tip stays above your fingers. And if we're in danger and someone is attacking us, we can punch someone, and for sure this will hurt a lot more than if it was just with your bare hand. To show how this works, let's hit the banana stem a few times by hand and then with the weapon to compare. Hey, is someone there? Pow, pow! My hand even turned red and left a slight mark. Look, it crushed a little bit here, but now let's see what happens with this here. Wow, come closer. Even though it's made of plastic, the spot where it hits, right here where the impact happens, ends up getting really damaged. It would definitely hurt a lot if this were skin, for example. But remember, this is a self-defense weapon. It's not for you to go out fighting anyone. This little weapon really surprised me in a good way. For 15 rees, it was worth it. The next weapon came straight from the Xingling source. This weapon cost me 20 rees and it looks a lot like a pen. You can keep it in your pocket and everything and it will go unnoticed. But if we try to write with it, look, no ink comes out because its tip is made of metal. To show its strength, here's a piece of wood. If we scrape it hard, we can almost cut the wood in half. Look at the groove we made. Besides this super sharp tip, it has another secret here. We can unscrew it in the middle, and here you can see there's another hole right in the middle of this second part with a thread. On this thread we can connect the pen tip. I can fit this pen between my fingers to be able to hold it. Just like that first weapon we tested, but now with a much sharper tip. But now let's do some tests to see the power of this thing. Just a little stab, let's see what happens. Wow, it split the melon in 3. Made a melon Beyblade, huh? Now what if we try this? Man, this thing is really aggressive, dude. This also falls into the category of a self-defense weapon for you to keep in your bag and all that. If you're in danger, you can use it to defend yourself, and for sure the damage to the criminal will be big. This pen has another secret, which is that it has this really thin and sharp tip. You can even break glass with it. So let's test it and see if it's capable. This glass specifically is really thick, so if it can break this, it could easily break a car window too, for example. Safety first, now let's go. 3, 2, 1. I don't know if the glass is just really strong or if this thing is actually weaker than the glass, but look what happened to the tip. It got blunt, the metal bent. What powerful glass. For 20 rays, that's a great deal. I really like this little thing. The next weapon was a bit more expensive. It cost me 60 reais. It also came from China. And just from the packaging, it already has a lot of really cool information, see? And the coolest thing is, it has some secrets, but I'll show you that in practice. I'll tell you, the flashlight looks great, and its first function is obvious. It resembles a baton. Here we fit our hand, and on this top part, it's like there are some teeth, some spikes here. On the back part of the flashlight, it has this little tip that's actually meant for breaking glass. If you get trapped inside the car, a hit on the glass would shatter it completely and allow you to escape. Well, aside from these extra features, the main function of this thing is as a flashlight. And that's the first thing we're going to analyze. In the dark, we can see the lighting better and check if it's good or not. If we click here once, look on the little button. Wow, it actually lights up pretty well, huh? It has a central focus and a really wide beam of light which lights up a lot. If we press it one more time, it lowers the light intensity. Press it again and it starts blinking, and if we press it again, it turns on this light here, which is a small side LED that ends up lighting up nearby places with much greater intensity. When it comes to lighting, this flashlight gets a 10 out of 10. But now, let's check out the other features it has. Now let's test how efficient this flashlight is as a baton. All of this here is plastic. Will it handle a hard hit? This top part of the melon is completely smooth and without any scratches. Let's hit it here and see what happens. Wow, what a tough thing, man. Look, the flashlight is still intact. I expected it to break after the first hits since it's plastic, but it really surprised me. It held up, it's still rigid, and it managed to break the melon, which is actually pretty hard and has a tough rind. Look, the first hits only left a mark, but you can clearly see this part inside was completely destroyed until it got to the point where the melon split in half. Pretty cool, right? Now we still need to test one more feature of the flashlight. Let's see if this will have as much trouble as the pen. 3, 2, 1. Just like what happened with the pen, this part also got dented and became flat, and the glass remains intact. But this time, we can see some marks here, but look, I think it's just dirt. It did nothing. But overall, this flashlight is definitely approved. I really liked what I saw, especially its lighting features and how tough it is. The next weapon is more of a ninja weapon made by a professional bladesmith and cost me about 300 reais. This weapon has already appeared on the channel, but I brought it back because it clearly fits the hidden weapons category. And I'm going to explain to you why right now. In the past, this wasn't used as a weapon, but rather as a farming tool. The ancients used this object here to make fences, to measure things. It had some even unimaginable functions, and over time, this started to be used by ninjas as well. And because it has some really sharp points, this thing can do some damage. And now I'm going to show you the strength of these barbecue skewers by piercing this banana tree. Without using much force, look how deep it goes in. If I put my finger here, it was about 10 centimeters. Now, with a lot of force, you can even push it all the way through. That's a strong thing. Look, we tear it, and what we can also do with this is kind of throw it, see? This weapon here is so powerful because besides this main tip, it has these two other side spikes that if it pierces something, it's definitely going to cause a lot of damage. But I know a lot of you are going to say in the comments, but a banana tree trunk is too soft and all that. So let's do a test on a much harder stem. Look, it didn't go in as far as the banana, but let's see. Wow, it's stuck in pretty well, huh? At least a few centimeters just by throwing it. A thrust like this, it does some damage, huh? I just learned papaya makes a strange sound. Listen. It sounds kind of hollow inside. Is this thing hollow inside? If anyone knows, leave it in the comments. This weapon doesn't need notes, it's just too cool. Let's move on to the next one. This object I'm going to show you costs 30 reais and it comes well packed inside this box. You'll understand why in a moment. The box must be sturdy to prevent it from opening on its own. Because this here is a baton, you have to be careful so it doesn't suddenly pop out like that. That's why it's tightly secured, and this is a retractable baton. It comes like this. It's all made of a very thin coiled metal, but this tip here is solid metal and quite heavy. Back here we have the lock with a little spring, and this baton is activated as soon as we press this top part. When we do this, the lock releases and the baton opens. To close it, it's a real hassle, and to open it is also difficult. This takes a bit of practice because the right way is for you to unlock it, open it, and hold it right in the middle. But without practice, we do everything wrong like this. But what we can test is the strength of this little tip here. Let's do this then on the melon. 3, 2, 1. Look at the little hit it gave. This thing, look, it hit here, made a slight bruise, but nothing major. But there's another point as well. Even though this turns into a long stick, if we hit something with it like this metal is so thin that it won't do anything at all. On the contrary, it will break in half very easily. I think this is more like a magician's prop, a toy, than an actual self-defense weapon, a camouflage ninja weapon. In fact, because of how hard it is to close this thing here, I didn't like it, I don't recommend it, I don't suggest it. My rating is about 2. Terrible. Junk. Our last item in today's video is something completely camouflaged. This thing, outside of the object it's attached to, you can't even tell what it's for, but now I'm going to show you. This here is basically a kick brass knuckle. We need to take this little piece here, which actually comes with two. It's made of plastic, an extremely resistant polymer. And at the tip, it's not sharp, but it has 4 little points. That makes the impact much more aggressive. Not in terms of piercing, but really in terms of causing injury. We need to attach this to the sneaker tongue. It should look like this. Just this is already enough, because now when we fit our foot in, the top of our foot locks all of this in place. And then you need to make the shoelace a little tighter and firmer. Tie a knot and you have a super hidden and camouflage kick. This object also qualifies as a self-defense weapon and goes completely unnoticed. If you go into places, it's for your protection. If someone tries to bother you, you can use it as a self-defense object and deliver a powerful kick that will hurt a lot, I guarantee it. The fact that it's attached to your foot with the tongue there, the laces tied and everything, it doesn't bother you. You don't even notice it's there. Now we need to analyze how it will affect you. Because when you kick, the same impact you're giving to the other person, you're receiving on yourself. So let's see if this doesn't hurt when you hit hard. Let's kick this water bottle and see if it can burst. I also made an adjustment, moving the thing a little further forward here, lowering the instep more since it was too high and not comfortable for kicking. Super kick then in 3, 2, 1. Look, in terms of damage, the most we managed to do is make a crease here in the bottle, but it didn't actually puncture it. On the other hand, my foot got wrecked because, as I said, action and reaction, the force I used, I also felt in my foot. And since it didn't break, the impact was strong and hurt my foot. Maybe if you kick something soft, a little softer, it won't hurt you as much. Let's do a test now on a banana tree. After the bottle test, I'm nervous because I think it'll hurt. The bottle already did. Now, maybe this will finish off my foot, but let's see what happens for the sake of your like. So go ahead and like this video because now it's time for the test. 3, 2, 1. Wow, I'm losing my foot here. Look, I'll tell you guys that it hurt less than the bottle, okay? But look, my sneaker here ended up getting soaked with banana, but this part stayed intact. It didn't move out of place. It just shifted a little bit. And the damage here apparently was big, okay? We managed to make some nice bruises here, some holes, look, some dents in the banana stem, because it's soft, right? So we had a little less difficulty. It didn't hurt as much. And thinking about it as a self-defense weapon, it did its job. It managed to injure the opponent more than I did, as long as the component isn't a water bottle. So these were all the gadgets we tested in today's video. Now I want to know which one you liked and found most efficient one. Please like the video to help promote it and subscribe so you don't miss future uploads. And I'm leaving here on the side a video where we tested several really cool ninja weapons. This time, they were not hidden ninjas at all. I'm sure you'll like it. Click to watch, and I'll see you next time. See you.